All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cafe Vodcast. Grab your comfy socks, your coffee, or G Fuel. Not a sponsor, but they could be. And sit back, relax, and stay a while because we have a show planned for you. You might have noticed that we missed a week last week, which is fitting because this week we're going to be talking about overcoming setbacks. Isn't that right, Richie?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're going to be talking about setbacks, overcoming them, what causes setbacks, what kind of setbacks there are, and the multitude of ways you can just overcome them. I don't know what else to say other than overcome it. So,
Yeah. I mean, I think that's relevant to almost anybody, right? Because we all have setbacks in our day to day life, whether that's traffic on the way to work. I don't know about you, but that's a setback that aggravates me to no end. And, like, to be honest, a lot of setbacks are completely unavoidable, but some setbacks are avoidable. So, there's definitely some differences there. So let's just dive right into it. Richie, how do you overcome setbacks? And if you need to, give us the context. What's been setting you back lately? You have a lot of projects you're
oh,
working on.
oh yeah, yeah. This setbacks is a really great topic that I wanted to talk about today because it was one of those things that was just been plaguing my creative endeavors the past week or so. So, 2 Thursdays ago, there was a birthday party that I could not avoid. Therefore, I didn't stream. Therefore, I didn't have a video to post on my Richie Swift Was Live YouTube channel for
Oh
the Monday.
no. I like how you say avoid too. Like, normally people don't want to avoid birthday parties, but you could not avoid it.
I couldn't, no matter, even if I wanted to try. I did not want to try,
Okay,
but
that's
even
good.
if I
That's good.
wanted to, it was unavoidable. But that's not necessarily a bad thing at all. That's not what I'm trying to say. But so yeah, there was no video to post on Monday, and then also on Sunday, Monday-ish time, my internet went off. It was something wrong with the router, so I wasn't able to stream that Tuesday either.
Oh
So I
no.
was completely radio silent for a while there.
Man.
And yeah, and then there was the cafe vodcast that wasn't able to be done either. Um,
That one was my
but
fault.
yeah, I'll let you explain that one. But the point is, that I was trying to make is that there was many times where there was many things that were just setting me back from doing my creative endeavors, and I thought, hey, let's talk about setbacks because it happens to all of us, man. Happens to
Yeah,
all of us. But
definitely.
because of those things, what I had to do personally was one, I just had to take it.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, couldn't avoid one. I couldn't avoid either of them, really.
Yeah.
Um, so it was just one of those things where I just had to take it over. I take it, and then on Thursday, I started to stream back again, and I decided to kind of like my setback recovery was to do something a little bit more engaging, a little bit more interesting. So I did something a lot more viewer based
Mm.
on Twitch, and it was really fun. And it's me writing the perfect love letter,
That's
and
awesome.
of course the catch was it was a horrible letter. Nothing about it was appealing at all. But that's the joke, and it was really fun, and it was a blast with my chat too. It was great.
That's
So
awesome.
it's just sometimes you just gotta take it and then just come back with full power, I guess. Because I mean, I did the Thursday, posted it on Monday, did my Tuesday stream, and we're doing the cafe vodcast today. So I think one of the things that always kind of stops people is the setbacks coming in and then being demoralized
Yeah.
and kind of being like, oh shoot, I missed. Some people just miss one. You know what I mean? They may
Hmm.
miss one, they may miss two, they may even miss 2 months or something like that. And a lot of people will get really discouraged and be like, well, maybe I just won't do the next one either, even though I'm able to, because it's just demoralizing. I get it. I 100% get it. but I decided to go back at it full force again and just kind of not lose my stride really. So that's how I um, have and continue to plan to overcome like setbacks in that field at least.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've got to roll with the punches because the
Mm.
punches are going to come, right? Like whether
Oh
you
yeah.
want them to or not. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, last week for me, the reason we missed the vodcast, it was kind of twofold. Um, just a lot of stuff ended up happening that afternoon, but I had also started rearranging. You might notice the setup looks a little bit different. Not a whole lot different. Um, but I just started to feel like I really needed to rearrange my setup
Hmm.
to be more creatively productive. Um, it's kind of a long story. I don't want to go too deep into it, but this shelf over here was on my desk and it covered up part of my window, which really, really bugged me.
Mm.
It's like, is it, I mean, I don't know, first world problems, I guess, but like it was really bugging me that it was like covering up so much of my window and it just was not aesthetically pleasing. Like the, I don't know what the right word, feng shui or whatever of the desk, you know? Like as I would look at it, something about it felt like off kilter and like it bothered me. And so I started rearranging to figure out a better setup. I love it so much more now. I've got like my record player over here and like a plant and everything. Much, much nicer setup, more aesthetically appealing. Um, and it's actually been a lot, like, it's kind of had a really big impact on my creative work. When I sit down to edit, it's a lot easier to sit down and edit because instead of seeing this desk with like my books and stuff, I see this nice kind of aesthetically appealing thing on the side. So in a way, the look of my setup was a setback because it was actually causing me not to want to edit as long or to sit, you
Hmm.
know, here at my computer as long. It's kind of weird how that works. Like you don't really think about that as a setback, but to be honest, it really was because I was spending less time focused on my work and now I actually spend more time and can sit here for longer periods of time and get more done creatively. So
Nice.
it was a setback that led to hopefully less setbacks in the future.
Yeah, and I guess that's more along the lines of like list of priorities, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
And fixing a source of another issue.
Hmm.
It may stop, the whole machine from running, but at least this time the whole machine will be running more efficiently.
Exactly. Definitely. So, what do you think? You know, you said you have to keep going through the setbacks. What are some of the ways that you keep going aside from like just getting back to work? Do you have any practical tips that you can think of that
Mm.
help people overcome setbacks? I will tell you I have one, but I'll save it for later.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that comes to mind immediately when you ask is don't take it personally
Mm-hmm.
and don't let it affect you like personally too. It's really easy to kind of internalize any setbacks and stuff like that. So it's like practical in the sense of kind of the same way that you're saying, where it's just like it's kind of a setback because you had to change something fundamental, I suppose. I guess that's a better way of saying it. You had to change something fundamental, and that's your mindset on setbacks and the reason for setbacks, and realizing that life just purely gets in the way sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing you can really do about it. Roll with the punches, like you said too, but don't take it to heart because it happens. It happens to everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone experiences life, and you know, not everyone's gonna be able to do everything that they want whenever they want. That's just simple reality.
Mm.
So it's just like, hey, even though you might have missed this, hey, maybe you were trying to do something, but you really couldn't because you had to do something else that was, either more important or just something just stops. Something stops you.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. Just kind of take a step back, go, ooh, okay, and then just keep moving forward. I don't
Nice.
know. I think I yeah, hopefully I'm answering your question.
No, that's a good answer.
Okay.
Yeah. I think for me personally, the one thing that I've found lately that really helps me overcome setbacks is this guy right here. I may have talked about it in
Mm.
one of our other episodes. I can't remember. But lately I've been taking to writing down all of my like things that I have to do and creating like a checklist. And that has really helped me overcome a lot of setbacks that are completely unnecessary, if I'm being honest. Like a lot of the time when I don't have, my day planned out or what I need to do planned out, I can come up with little things to do throughout the day that distract me from the main things that I need to do. And I feel like I'm accomplishing something, so I don't necessarily, feel bad that I'm not doing the main thing that I need to do. But by the end of the day, it's like, oh, wait, I really should have got that done. But throughout the day, these little accomplishments were kind of making me feel uh, like I was being successful, if that makes sense, when I really wasn't, because I wasn't accomplishing the overall goal of the day, right? And so that, writing those things down has been a huge like game changer for me personally.
All right, just kind of celebrate the minor victories, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's
Yeah,
awesome. I like it. I might even try doing it myself actually,
definitely
this
recommend
coming
it.
week.
You should try it. Let me know what you think. Maybe on the next episode we can discuss like if you did that and,
Mm.
if it had an effect. I would recommend taking like a lot of people take like 8 key tasks that they want to accomplish for the day. I really take like 4 to 5 like key tasks, and then like you just have to let it eat at you if you don't get it done, so that like
Mm.
by the end of the day you're like, can I look at my list and see the 5 things that I was supposed to get done and check all of them off. It's interesting. It's it's kind of opposite of what you might expect, but I think it,
Mm.
letting it kind of get to you and be like, okay, I have to check off my list. I got to do it. I've
Okay.
found it to be really helpful. So, but I would be curious. Next week we'll have to see what you thought of that, or if you
For
even did
sure.
it at all. You might not have, and then we can discuss that too.
Gosh, you're talking as if that's going to be a setback of mine.
That's true. That's true. You know,
uh,
I think you can do it. I believe in you. Um,
yeah.
so
All right.
yeah, that's my number one. Number two is just, kind of like this bookshelf. It's like doing the little things, taking the little things out of the way that hold you back throughout the day, so that you become more efficient. I think like as a video maker, somebody who's done YouTube and stuff, um, over the years, I've gotten like more and more equipment and stuff. And when a piece of equipment really solves a problem and saves me so much more trouble, it becomes incredibly more valuable to me. And I think that's because it's overcoming setbacks that are normally there throughout the job if I'm filming a video or whatever. To give one example, like I just recently this year, in fact, um, bought new audio gear. And at first, I bought a
Mm.
shotgun mic and a recorder, and like a boom pole holder and stuff. And I was like, okay, this will be good. I can just set it up, point it at the person I'm interviewing or whatever, and capture the audio. Well, that's like 3-4 pieces of equipment. Then later on in the year, I started realizing a need for like some lavalier mics. So I picked up a wireless lavalier system and started using that. And holy cow, the audio sounds like so much cleaner right off the bat. And it's all synced up to the camera right off the bat. And it's plugging in one little piece of equipment versus 3 big pieces of equipment with setup.
Mm.
And just, those little things like that make a huge difference. And so that piece of equipment, that little wireless microphone, has quickly become like one of the most valuable things in my kit. And it's because it takes less time to set up, less setbacks, right? You
Mm.
know, sometimes when when you think about like, oh, I've got to set up this, that, and the other, you know, especially for personal projects, it can be like, do I really want to go through all those steps? But if it's just one step, you're more likely to accomplish it, you know?
Oh
So,
yeah, and getting caught up in the whole picture, it can very much drive your anxiety to completely steer you away from it entirely. So
yeah, it can definitely do that. All right. Well, do you have any more that you want to add to setbacks?
setbacks. Um,
Avoid them like the plague.
avoid setbacks. It's all your fault. If there's any setbacks, that it's just completely. I'm joking, guys.
It's the
Yeah, I
complete
yeah,
opposite of what you said a minute ago.
yeah, 100% opposite. Just flip it on the dime. See, and that would be if you were listening and said, you know what, it is my no, that's a setback right now. You need to change. You need to change your mind right now. No, I think I pretty much said what I believe about setbacks already. I'm not sure if I have any more to add, um, other than um, they'll come. Don't take it too personally. Just push through, and you got it. Like,
Yeah.
just believe in yourself. You got it.
And do the little things to prepare, you know, for the ones that you can prepare for. You know,
Oh yeah,
some, like we said, not all of them can you prepare for it all. And that's okay. That's definitely okay.
taking preventable measures.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. Now that we've got that settled, if you guys at home have any comments that you want to add to the talking about setbacks and how to overcome them, be sure to leave them in the comments below, and Richie and I will read those. We would love to see what you're thinking. All right. I think it's time we introduce a new segment to the show.
Ooh.
Total transparency here, guys. This was Richie Swift's idea to add segments to the show. Brilliant idea. This is why he gets paid the big bucks whenever we monetize this channel. Hopefully.
I'm getting a 25-cent raise, guys. I'm excited.
Oh, man. So, no, I actually think it's a great idea. So, we've talked about a couple segments to add. If there's a segment that you have in mind that you would like us to talk about, leave it in the comments below as well, and we can talk about that sometime. But I think the first segment we're going to get to, what have you been listening to this week? Bum, bum, bum.
Do. What have we been listening to?
It could be anything.
All right.
No holds barred. The radio, favorite talk show hosts, music, CD.
Yeah.
I don't know. CD. I don't know why I said CD. Nobody listens to
CD.
CDs anymore.
What is this, 2000? No one listens to CDs. It's all Spotify, gamer.
SMH.
Yeah, we do want it to be a little bit more open-ended, because not everyone's a super crazy music lover. Not everyone is a super crazy podcast listener, audiobooks, and so on and so forth, but we like to include all of those. Me personally, I'm a huge music guy. I love, love, love me some music. Old, new, I listen to it all.
Nice.
I will mention that I've been listening to a new album by the artist Little Nas X. It's definitely modern.
Never heard of him.
And there's a lot of controversy surrounding him.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, and I'll be the first one to say, like, I can totally get it if it's not for you. But that has been something I've been listening to. His new album, Montero, just came out recently, and I've been listening to it, and I've been enjoying it. Though it is very much an artist's self-expression, and if you don't connect with the specific artist's expression, then you may not enjoy yourself. I personally enjoyed it. Thought a lot of the creative liberties was really interesting. I definitely would recommend it to people who are already kind of aware of who Lil Nas X is, very much pop and stuff, because I can guarantee you that older ladies and gentlemen that are listening probably will listen to it and go, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" and throw out their earbuds instantly. And I do not blame them. I would not blame them. But I'll leave it at that. His new album came out. I think it's really good. I personally think, and I'm making this statement now, I think it might be runner up, personally, of best album of the year for 2021. I'm calling it now.
Interesting.
Um,
Runner up,
I'm
huh?
still runner up, if not number one.
Okay.
The top three that I'm thinking about that they're gonna for sure be there. I can guarantee you that they're for sure going to be there, and it's going to be Kanye West's Donda,
Okay.
Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever, and then Lil Nas X's Montero.
Interesting.
Um, Billie Eilish may, Billie Eilish and Lil Nas X to me are, combating for number one.
Yeah, I
But
mean they're not that their genres are similar, but they hold a similar place in the culture, I think.
yeah,
If that makes sense.
it's both very much in household names in popular music.
Hmm.
A lot of Gen Z uh, people are very much into both of them.
Nice.
But I don't want to talk too much about the other guys. I've just been talking about Little Nas X. But I will say that, though. It's going to be either number one or second place.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. Hot take. If Richie Swift is right and you're not subscribed, then you have to subscribe. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules.
I just enforce them.
Honestly, we should probably clip that and like upload it all over the place just so like if you are right, we can be like, look, here's the clip. We have it. Richie Swift knows what he's talking about. And then we change the whole vodcast to be about music.
Because all these people are that are Anthony Fantano fans are going to be like, "You called it first. You're the next Anthony Fantano."
That's right.
That's a joke. I'll never be like Anthony Fantano. I'm a huge fan of him though, but
Nice.
he's a music critic.
I
But
see. I don't follow many critics on anything. In fact, actually, I'm my own
oh,
critic. Actually, that's kind of true. I hadn't really thought about it until now, but I don't follow any critics.
interesting.
That is interesting. Maybe we'll have to make that a discussion topic sometime.
Yeah, that would be a really interesting conversation. In fact, that might be an upcoming podcast pretty soon, actually.
I like it. I like it a lot.
All right. But yeah, that's enough of me and my listening habits. Let's talk about you. What have you been listening to, Corbin?
I've been listening to. Hang on, let me find the title. Great album. It's called Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan. It's a book.
Hello?
It's a book.
Oh.
Yeah, I was
What's
telling
it
you a
about?
little bit beforehand. It's actually the sixth or seventh book in a epic fantasy series by Robert Jordan. Arguably the greatest epic fantasy series to this date. Yeah. So
Wow.
so for a little bit of context, I actually listen to more audiobooks day to day than I do music. Primarily because when I am driving a lot, I find that listening to an audiobook makes the drive go by faster than if I'm listening to music. And I think, I could be totally wrong on this. This could be totally speculation. I think it's because if you listen to an hour of an audiobook, you get like maybe, well, not even on this. On this, you get like 1/40th of a story because they're about 40 hours long each. So if you listen to an hour of an audiobook, 1/40th of the story. If you listen to an hour long album, you hear maybe, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 songs, depending on the the artist and how long they write their songs.
Yeah.
Could be more, could be less. And so you get this this story from the artist's perspective that takes place over this many songs, or you get multiple mini stories because songs are essentially stories.
Yeah.
when you boil it down. And so I think because of that, because you're getting so many more stories versus so much less of a story in the same amount of time, that it makes the time feel different. Does that make sense? Like you
No,
perceive
it makes
time
sense.
differently based on what you're doing. Like they say, time flies when you're having fun. Um, and so really I can see for most people, why music works either way. And there are times like when I'm driving around town, generally I like to listen to some music, if it's just a short drive. But and then when I'm working too, I don't know, I just find that I like the longer format of books, and something about it just engages my mind differently than music. Like music is more passive for me, where audiobooks are more active. So
Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah, that's what I've been listening to lately. Highly recommend it if you at home are not an audiobook listener. Try it out sometime. Whatever your favorite genre is, try it out. For me, it's fantasy. I love
Okay.
high epic fantasy. Something about just like the trips and the adventures and travel. Like I love to travel, and I don't get to travel very much. So it's so
Mhm.
cliche, but books take you anywhere you want to go.
For sure, especially if they're well written.
Yeah, exactly. And holy cow, Robert Jordan, like that could be a conversation for a whole nother podcast, but he was one of the greatest authors, and as far as, okay, so I'll give a caveat to that he was one of the greatest authors for character development. Like over the course of,
Mm.
it's like 13 or 15 books, I can't remember. Like these characters, you really grow to like love them and know them, and like they change, but it's slow. It's like a really slow development where like I'm in the sixth, seventh book right now, so almost halfway through the series. The main character, I can really see how he went from like this farm boy to like now the Lord of Chaos, is what they're
Mm.
calling him in this book, because like part of his character development in this book is that he is somewhat almost going insane. And so like you see him develop over the course of time, and
Oh,
it's really interesting, but it takes a very good author to pull that off well.
sure.
Yeah, fun fact, the author died before he finished the series,
Oh no.
but his wife was the editor. She had all his notes, and so she found another fantasy author, another favorite of mine, Brandon Sanderson, and hired him to finish the series based on his notes. And it was
That's pretty.
almost, as close as you can get to a seamless like transition of one author picking up where the other left off.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. Like I said, it's got its own. It could almost be its own storyline or vodcast. Talking just about all of that
That's awesome.
series.
Say the name one more time
So that
for myself and also the listeners.
it's Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan from the Wheel of Time series. New TV
Wheel of Time
show coming
series.
out on Amazon in November. Can't wait for
Interesting.
that.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll be cool.
that's
They're,
some good timing right there.
right? They're probably going to change the storyline, but that's okay. I'm going to enjoy it as its own separate thing, because, like,
For sure.
you kind of have to do that. So that's
Oh yeah, with
actually,
adaptations.
yeah, that's something I want to kind of get your take on. I think
Hmm.
let's see. All right, we're going to end that segment right there. And I'm going to bring up something totally new that I haven't even mentioned to you. So, hot take. Here we go.
Oh, here we
All
go.
right. All right. So, you're talking about an artist's expression, right? And we're talking about like different forms of art. You have to kind of consider them as their own thing. So, what is your hot take on procedurally generated, like randomly generated NFT art? Do you know anything about this?
Randomly generated NFT, because I've heard of NFTs
Right.
and how that's so people are using AIs to randomly generate like art, like
Yes.
pictures, photography type stuff.
They're usually like more pixelated art, like pixel art. Some of them aren't necessarily pixel art.
Hmm.
Sorry, this is completely like left field. I know.
No, this is interesting for sure.
But
So,
I found out about this today, so it kind of fits with the what have you been learning about segment we talked about.
it,
Um,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I found out about this today. So NFTs, for those who aren't familiar, that's non-fungible tokens, and they are basically digital assets that are tied to a monetary value, usually in some form of cryptocurrency. It's just crazy stuff to me.
Hmm.
But I found out today, I was thinking, like, here I am thinking, like, oh, there's these digital artists creating these NFTs and selling them, whatever. Fine. The art world does what it wants. Well, I found out today that a lot of them are actually like, I don't know if procedurally generated, randomly generated. I'm not exactly sure which one it is. But they're generated through the blockchain that basically gives them their value, I think. And
Hmm.
so like you'll essentially buy these like these tokens or whatever that you then trade in for an NFT, and it creates it. I'm assuming using the blockchain somehow. And there will be different elements to this NFT that assign it rarity. So like one of them was like it was like zombies. And so like one zombie might have like one eye or something, and like that is an element that is generated at random, and certain
Hmm.
elements are more rare than other elements, therefore giving that NFT more value.
It's it's kind of it's very interesting for sure. And this is the first I've heard of it, but I did look at Google Images and stuff like that for just the first images that show up, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of creepy, surreal kind of art looking things.
Isn't that
And
weird?
part of me is kind of intrigued by this concept alone. Um, I'm one of those guys that is art is could be anything really. I'm
Mm-hmm.
one of those guys. Self-expression with art is very important for me personally, but I'm not also a purist when it comes to, the only thing I'm a purist about is stuff when it's like obvious, like low effort,
Yeah.
and kind of like that's where I start to get kind of like but I would say that it's one of those things where it's almost like it's almost fascinating that people aren't necessarily artists, but they're creating an AI to do the art for them.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even like I'm not even sure who to give the label of that art to,
Right.
the machine or the person who created the machine. Either way, it's very interesting. Um, especially if, even though the purpose of it is to make the most profit out of it, which
Right.
technically should upset me more than it does. But it's just like at the same time, it's like, well, technically, if people are buying into the NFTs, right?
Mm.
That's something that you won't be able to stop. So these guys are just using that as like another form of currency, really, because that's
Yeah.
what crypto really is. And you
Right.
know, you can get into like a huge rabbit hole on just the fundamentals of currency in general. And we can be talking about that for like 7+ hours on whatever. So it's one of those things where I have to say, internet's going to do whatever it's going to do.
Mm.
People are going to do whatever they're going to do. And if we, you know, get to see cool new things come from it, then I say, why the heck not? Let's see what happens. Let's see what these machines deem to be worthy of a high price. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah.
What do machines think is going to be a high priced product?
Yeah.
And that's cool to me. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, to me, I'm just like, what do you do with randomly generated art? Like you said, who do you
Yeah,
give the credit as the artist to? Is it the
yeah.
programmer who programmed the AI? Is it the AI? Is it like, it's just, I was like, I saw that today. I was like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, because
Yeah.
I kind of understand where you're coming from. Like anything can be art, as it's more about the effort for you and like, putting in the work to kind of like create art. But like
Yeah.
one way I heard it described actually, and I thought this was a good way, is like that art is meant to provoke a reaction of some form. And so that was their justification for modern art, where like it looks like, oh, somebody just painted a line across a canvas and like hung it in a museum or something. He's like,
Yeah.
whether you love it or hate it, it provoked a reaction, so it did its job. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's fascinating. I hadn't thought
Yeah.
about it that way.
That's fair.
And so, like, I kind of get that, but like, I just don't even know where to put this. It's like, you know, I don't know. To me, I still think it's gonna end up being like whoever the last man is, they're the one left holding the bag. They get all the NFTs, but they have no value now. Like,
Yeah.
but maybe that won't happen.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see digital museums pop up to show rare NFTs that only. I
Honestly,
don't know.
honestly, it's just like when Jackson Pollock. Did people think that art like that was even going to go mainstream, if not stay mainstream for a while?
Yeah,
Like, there's whole museums dedicated to him and artwork like it, and it probably won't surprise me if in like a little more than 10 years or so, maybe, people will start to look back at it and be like, whoa. Or maybe even continue the trend. Not even purely for the NFT base, but literally just to make new stuff. That's what I would do if I knew how to do it. Like
yeah,
art, like actual artists that will like see inevitably see this trend may even say, hey, maybe I'll get into programming, or if I already know programming, I'll create something to like make artwork with, and I don't know,
yeah,
and you'll see something truly unique.
yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
know.
It's gonna be interesting to watch for sure. Sorry, definitely didn't mean to take us down that rabbit trail, but I think
Oh man.
it was a fun conversation.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's cool stuff. That's cool stuff.
Definitely. Well, what do you think, Richie? Do we add another segment tonight, or do we call it a night? We're sitting at almost 40 minutes here. It's been a good episode so far.
I think it's been a good episode. I think we kind of left it on a high note,
Yeah,
talking about barely scratching the surface on what an NFT really is and what that truly means for like an economy and stuff like that.
yes.
But I'm not a economic major nor a politician, so I'll just stick to our basic understanding of what those are.
Sounds good. Who knows? Maybe next week we can pick back up with what is art, what qualifies as art, and start becoming the critics on judging whether art is art or not.
Yeah, but then you start sounding like certain people who think that certain things aren't art because yeah, that's a rabbit hole.
I'm
That's a
kidding.
rabbit
I'm
hole.
kidding.
I
Honestly,
I
I don't.
know.
It
I'm
doesn't bother me too much what people call art. If you want to call something art, I'm all for it. And like I
for
said, I
sure.
don't follow critics, so I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like, and then it doesn't really matter what you call it, because no matter what you call it, won't make me like it any more or less. So
You will like Little Nas X. You will like Little Nas
we did used to use Old Town Road as the sound check song when I worked for college, doing like sound in rooms and stuff. That was this. We only used that song to
Oh my
test the sound
gosh,
systems.
that's funny.
It never got
I'll, le-
old.
I'll I will leave with that one last fact because
Okay,
you
let's
mentioned the
go.
song, and I was already talking about Lil Nas X earlier too, because that was what I was listening to. Old Town Road is still the number one most
Longest
longest
lasting.
lasting number one single in history.
Nice. That is an impressive feat.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you just mentioned the song. We were talking about Lil Nas X earlier, and just want to leave you with that little fact in case you didn't know.
I like it. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. What are your thoughts on crypto? What are your thoughts on overcoming setbacks? And what have you been listening to lately? Let us know in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button, and we will be live, hopefully, next Wednesday, barring any setbacks. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and let's roll the outro.